ॐ वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां विषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। नारायणं पद्मभुवं वसिष्ठं शक्तिं च तत्पुत्रपराशरं च व्यासं शुकं गौडपदं महान्तं गोविन्दयोगीन्द्रमथस्य शिष्यं श्रीशङ्कराचार्यमथास्य पद्मपादं च हस्तामलकं च शिष्यं तं तोटकं वार्तिककारमण्यान् अस्मद्गुरून् सन्ततमानतोऽस्मि। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। साक्षात्कृतं दयानन्दं परमार्थस्वरूपिणं तत्त्वज्ञानप्रशास्तारं प्रणतोऽस्मि परं पदम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तमाविद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः। स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। You can repeat. ॐ ब्रह्मादेवानां प्रथमः सम्बभूव
ॐ ब्रह्मादेवानां प्रथमसम्भूव
विश्वस्य कर्ता भुवनस्य गोप्ता
विश्वस्य कर्ता भुवनस्य गोप्ता
स ब्रह्मविद्यां सर्वविद्याप्रतिष्ठां
ब्रह्मविद्यां सर्वविद्याप्रतिष्ठाम्
अथर्वाय ज्येष्ठपुत्राय प्राह
अथर्वाय ज्येष्ठपुत्राय प्राह
अथर्वणेयां प्रवदेत ब्रह्मा
अथर्वणीयां प्रवदतेत ब्रह्मा
अथर्वातां पुरोवाचाङ्गिरे ब्रह्मविद्याम्
अथर्वातां पुरोवाचाङ्गिरे ब्रह्मविद्याम्
स भारद्वाजाय सत्यवहाय प्राह
भारद्वाजाय सत्यवहाय
भारद्वाजोऽङ्गिरसे परावराम्
भारद्वाजोऽङ्गिरसे परावराम्
शौनको ह वै महाशालः
शौनको ह वै महाशालः
अङ्गिरसं विधिवदुपसन्नः पप्रच्छ कस्मिन् भगवो विज्ञाते सर्वमिदं विज्ञातं भवति इति
कस्मिन् भगवो विज्ञाते सर्वमिदं विज्ञातं भवति इति
तस्मै सहोवाच द्वे विद्ये वेदितव्ये इति स्म यत् ब्रह्मविदो वदन्ति परा चैवापरा च
ब्रह्मविदो वदन्ति परा च
तत्रापरा ऋग्वेदो यजुर्वेदः सामवेदोऽथर्ववेदः शिक्षाकल्पो व्याकरणं निरुक्तं छन्दो ज्योतिषमिति
शिक्षाकल्पो व्याकरणं निरुक्तं छन्दो ज्योतिषमिति
अथ परा यया तदक्षरमधिगम्यते यत्तदद्रेशमग्राय महोत्रमवर्णम् अचक्षश्रोत्रं तदपानिपादम् नित्यं विभुं सर्वगतं सुसूक्ष्मम् तदव्ययं यद्भूतयोनिं परिपश्यन्ति धीराः I think we have seen the simple meaning of the mantra. We need to see the Bhashyam. Have you seen the simple meaning of the mantra?
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
Started the Bhashyam.
Started with the Bhashyam. Okay. The first section of the first Mundaka, it's an important section. It has got only 9 mantras. The 9 mantras are important mantras. Introduction to Paravidya. Paravidya meaning Aksharam, Brahma, the knowledge. The knowledge is indicated by the Paravidya, and the knowledge is about the Aksharam, Brahma. And the Aksharam is described. The indescribable Aksharam is described in this mantra, like in the Kathopanishad. Ashabdam Asparsham Arupam Abhyam. The same way, This mantra presents the indefinable, indescribable Aksharam Brahma. You can see a lot of similarity between Kathopanishad and Mundakopanishad. This mantra is similar. And similarly, in Kathopanishad, Ritam Pibantau Sukrutasya Loke Chaya Tapo Brahma Vido Vadanti Chaya Tapa. The two things, Jivatma Paramatma, Guham Pravishtav. Similarly, here also in this Upanishad, talk about two birds, Dva Suparna Sayuja Sakaya. It's going to come later. So you can see a lot of similarity. So this mantra is important mantra. And after this mantra, the Upanishad will talk about the Srishti. We'll talk about the Srishti Prakranam. Only 9 mantra. In 9 mantra, all the important topics are covered. From the second section of the first Mundaka onwards, it talks about Aparavidya and compares with Paravidya and praises Aparavidya. That is how the Upanishad going to proceed. So the knowledge, the understanding of the first 9 mantras are important. By Paravidya, what we mean is the knowledge of the meaning of the words of the Upanishad. That is the understanding, not just the words, not just knowing the words. That's important. And what is Brahma? The knowledge of Brahma, which is defined by, which is given by this mantra, and the Srishti, which is going to come later. Important, all the important topics are covered. Any spiritual sadhaka will have this basic question about the Srishti. So that also it is covered. Therefore, the basic doubt regarding the Srishti, Srishtikarta, and I, who is also a part of this Srishti, am I also Srishtam, like any other thing? What is the nature of me? What is the nature of myself? What is the connection of me with this Jagat and the Ishvara? What is the reality of these three? Do these have separate individual reality, or the reality is the same? All those, the doubts, samshaya, which a sadhaka will have, all these doubts are addressed by this first section itself. So when the Upanishad talks about the Brahma, that Brahma, which is Paramatma, the same Paramatma is me, is myself, who resides in the body and has the name Jivatma. Jivatma, Paramatma, only Nama Beda, but Tattvataha na Bedaha. But in reality, there is no difference. Like there is no difference between the waves and the water. A wave is nothing but the water. Ocean is water. Wave is not separate from the ocean. The essential nature of the water and the essential nature of the wave, they are same. They are not different. The difference is only in the vyavahara, in the empirical transaction. And the empirical transaction, the empirical reality is mithya. Empirical reality is the mithya. The nama, rupa, the word and the meaning, they're just a word and meaning. The word and the meaning associated with the word. This nama rupatmaka prapancham, it is mithya. It is not mithya, meaning it is not separate from the Brahma. when this Nama Rupatmakam Prapancha is not different from Brahma, Brahma which is in the form of Jagat, this Jagat, and I who is also a part of the Jagat, therefore I also must be not different from Brahma. The reality, the Aksharam Brahma. So, whenever Upanishad talks about Brahma, it doesn't talk about something else. It talks about me. It is about me the Upanishad talks about. So, we should have the the understanding and the conviction that what the Upanishad talks about is myself, the reality about myself. When the reality about you is known, then you become a jnani, and all your worldly transaction will be saintly. The transaction with the world will be a saintly transaction. You will be a sane person. You will be a saintly person, because what is you. You are not different from the Brahma. So the Brahma, which is unlimited, which is Purnaha, doesn't have any doesn't have any want, free from lack, any lack. It is Purnaha. So Purnatvam. Purnatvam is the ultimate goal. It is the Parama Purushartha, which is already Siddha. So when that understanding comes, then there will not be any pressure. There will not be any pressure in your Vyavahara. You will not be carried over by any emotions, any situations. You will behave in a way that you are Ishvara. That is the truth. That is the truth. That is the reality. When that reality is not known, when the individuality is there, then only ahankara, mamakara, all these things come, and therefore samsara, we suffer. We suffer from different sorts of pain. But there is no base for this pain. So when we understand this fact that Aksharam Brahma is myself, then all the notion about myself, wrong notion about myself, is resolved. It has to resolve. That is the understanding. If it doesn't get resolved, then we need to study further. We need to understand further. Maybe the knowledge is there. The knowledge is there, but the knowledge has not become, not deeply rooted. It is there. Therefore, the study is not an academic study. Study is not an academic study. Study is not about knowing the Samskrita words also. Samskrita words is incidental. But the understanding is important. Understanding, and in the Vyavahara, we have to evaluate ourselves how we conduct with this understanding. When this understanding is there, our Vyavahara will be different with the world. When this understanding is not there, then our Vyavahara will be different, will be a normal Vyavahara, will be a normal person, having the same emotions, undergoing the same pain, interacting with the world the same way as a Ajnani also interacts. There is a difference between the two. So, the purpose is jnanam, knowledge, and by knowledge, all the wrong notions are resolved, destroyed. When I know who am I, the reality is known, then you become a different person. You become a different person. There should be a difference between before and after. Before the study of the Upanishad and after the study of the Upanishad. The study of Upanishad definitely should make an impact. If it doesn't make impact, then we need to look into it. We need to introspect whether the understanding, whether the understanding is only at the theoretical level, academic level. When the understanding is manifested in the form of our vyavahara, then only the knowledge has really taken place and it has helped us. So here in the Upanishad, wherever the Brahma is used, it is not the something different, something third person. It is myself. Whether we use the word Brahma or whether you use the word consciousness, the consciousness, Chaitanyam, but also we can use the word. But the word consciousness has got other meaning in the Vyavahara, in the science also they use consciousness. So consciousness, when we say, it is as though it's something different from me. I am conscious. I am conscious of, we say I am conscious, subconscious. So it looks as though that is different from me. Consciousness means that your nature, your very nature is with consciousness, Chit, Chaitanya. Therefore, trying to avoid use the word consciousness, therefore using the word Atma. Sometimes we can use the word consciousness also. So when we say consciousness, again, it is not something else, it is you. You are not different from consciousness. Because our abhimana is strong with this body, mind, and senses. Whatever the whatever the body, mind, the sense organs feels, or the sense organs reports to the mind, that is taken to be me. That is that because of the abhimana, because of strong abhimana, that the real nature of myself, it's forgotten and taken over by this abhimana, and therefore our vyavahara is in keeping with this abhimana, with this sharira manas indriya sangata. But does it mean that we should give up this body, mind, senses? No. With body, mind, senses, it is you. Without body, mind, senses also, it is you only. With mobile phone, I am. Without mobile phone also, I am. The mobile phone doesn't add anything to me. It is only a gadget. Similarly, this body, mind, sense also, it's also a tool. The tool is with me. I use the tool. I should not become the tool. I cannot become the tool. The fact is, I cannot become the tool. The tool is meant for use. Whether you are so identified with the tool, that makes a difference. When you are so identified with the tool, then you become the tool and your vyavahara becomes different. So therefore, the purpose of study is to get this clarity and see that our transaction, our transaction before and after, whether it's in keeping with our understanding and the knowledge, that one has to introspect, one has to watch, and if it doesn't, then one has to deliberately work on it. This, even though understanding is sometimes because of this, the habitual behavior, this understanding is sometimes is carried away by that. So that is why nishtha we talk about. Jnana nishtha. Need to spend some time regularly, every day some time on what the Upanishad teaches and what I understood from the study of the Upanishads. Whether it is Gita or whether it is Upanishad, or even if it is a Tattva Bodha, though it is a basic text, but every time you read the same text, it will give you different ideas. More, because your clarity goes. Therefore, when you see the same text, you see new things. It is not that the text is new, but new things are revealed to you because you started digging yourself and you discover yourself. Therefore, even though the text may be the same, but you discover new things, new ideas. So therefore, any text, even if it is a Tattva Bodha, it is not to be just discarded as it's a simple text that we have already studied. Once time studied is over. It's not like that. It's meant for repeated study. Even Tattva Bodha, then what to talk of the Upanishads. Having been said that, then we'll see this mantra. It's a very important mantra. In the beginning itself, the Upanishad just drops a big bombshell in the form of this mantra. Yattadadresham agragim nakotram avarunam iti. Describes you only. You are not this. You cannot be seen. You cannot be touched. When somebody say I cannot, when you say that I cannot be touched, what will people say? People will laugh at you. You cannot be touched. You are available right in front. 80 kg person available for touch right in front. But that is only the body. That is only the body which is available for perception. But that which is not available for normal perception, that in the presence of which the body is, that is what is you. It is what the you is, aham. So, whatever normal vyavahara, the words what we use for our perception of objects, which are objects are other than me. Therefore, whatever the words we use for the perception of objects, Pratama Purusha, those words are used to negate that you are not. Those very words are used to negate, to show the reality of you. So therefore, yattadadresham, agragyam, akotram, avarnam, achakshushrotam, tadapani padam, all these are negated. You are with this, you are without this. So this is not you. It means, it doesn't mean you should disassociate from this. Bhagavan has given this shariram, this mind, the sense organs, all is meant for use. These are not me. These are me. All these are me, myself, but I am not any of this. That is the understanding. Body is me. Mind is me. Sense organs are myself, but I am not any of this. They are me, I am not. Like this example, A is B, but B is not A. The actor who is performing in the drama, performing the role of a beggar, an actor A performs the role of a beggar in a drama. So the actor is B, the beggar. But the beggar is not the actor. Only in the performance, the actor A is B. But after the performance, what is the reality of the actor is not the beggar. B is not A. Pot is clay, but clay is not the pot. Pot is made from the clay. The essence of pot is clay. The essence of pot is clay, but clay is not pot, because from clay you can make other articles, other objects, different kinds, different shapes you can make. That is the understanding. So when we say this body is not me, mind is not me, it means it should not take us to the dissociation. That is another big problem. Manabuddhyagangara chittani nahum. When we say aham na manaha, na buddhihi, na chittaha, it means not for dismissing. not for dismissing and discarding. With that, I am me. Without that, also, I am me. So they are me, but I am not them. But that is the understanding. With that understanding, if the vyavahara is done, that shows our understanding and the knowledge what we derive from the Upanishads. So here, this mantra, important mantra, it talks about myself, me. And we have seen this simple meaning of this mantra. Yattadadresham, agragyam, agotram. Adresham. Adresham means that cannot be perceived. That cannot be perceived. So body is perceivable, but Atma, which is me, which is not perceivable like a body, which is not perceivable like a mind, like senses. Therefore, adresham means that which cannot be perceived. Agragyam, that which cannot be grasped, which cannot be held, like you catch something with your hand. Similarly, this cannot be caught. Agotram, agotra means this, the moolam, the source. There is no source for Atma. It is not produced. Therefore, it is agotram. Doesn't have an origin. Doesn't have an origin. Avarnam. Varna can be taken as I said, it can be taken as the color, or it can be taken as whether it is Brahmana, Kshatriya, Shudra, Vaishya. These Varnas are not there for Atma. Manisha Panchakam Bhagavad Pada beautifully says that these Varnas are not there for Atma. That is why even if it is a Chandala, between a Chandala and a Brahmana, there is no difference. Between a Chandala and a Brahmana, that is why Bhagavad Pada accepts the Chandala as his Guru. Chaitanya Drishtya na Vedaha. So therefore, Avarnam means that which is without any properties. The properties are only for the objects which are available for perception. Atma cannot have any properties, propertyless. So therefore, it is not available for the perception. Achaksha Shrotram. It doesn't have eyes, it doesn't have ears, it means it doesn't have any parts. If it has parts, then it is subject to change, subject to decay, subject to destruction. It doesn't have eyes, it doesn't have ears, it doesn't have feet, it doesn't have hands, and it is Nityam. Nityam. It doesn't have any avayava. Therefore, it cannot have destruction. Therefore, Nityam. If it is Nityam, then where is it? It is Vibhum. It is Vibhum and Sarvagatam. It is all pervasive, which has become many. The same one Brahma has become many. The same clay has become different articles made of clay. Different forms of clay are available in the form of pot, in the form of lid, in the form of a plate. Similarly, the whole prapancha is nothing but Ishvara. Ishvara, Brahma, has become the Jagat. Vividam Bhavati Vibhum. Sarvagatam, and it is Susukshmam. Because it is the Karanam, and Jagat is Karyam. Between the Karanam and Karyam, there is no difference. The difference is only from the empirical standpoint. Therefore, Karya Drishtya, Karanam Susukshma. Karanam is subtle. That is only from the standpoint of Karya. From the ultimate standpoint, there is no Karanam, there is no Karya. Like there is no direction, north, south, east, west. There is a direction. From the standpoint of the sun, for the people in the earth, from the standpoint of sun, there is north, east, south, west. If you are on the sun, standing on the top of the sun, which is north, which is south? Doesn't have. So therefore, similarly, Karya Drishtya, this Jagat, which is a product, what is available for perception, from that standpoint, this Brahma is the Karanam, and because it is Karanam, therefore, so Sukshmam. Karanam always will be subtle. Subtlety in terms of subtlety. Why it is subtle? Because it is because it is Karanam, therefore it pervades the Karyam. Therefore, so Sukshmam. And Tat Avyayam, not available for change, and which is the cause of all the beings, Bhutayonim, iti paripashyanti dhiraha, viveki purushaha, jnaninaha, dhiraha, paripashyanti. They see. Paritaha pashyanti. Sarvam Brahma iti pashyanti dhiraha, jnaninaha. This is what is the Nitya Nitya Vastu Viveka. Viveki Purushaha Paripashyanti. Then we can continue with the Bhashyam. Vakshamanam Buddhau Samhritya
Vaksyamanam
buddhau
buddhau
samhritya
Siddhavat Paramrishyate Yattaditi.
Siddhavat
siddhavata paramrishyate yattat iti.
You have seen this line. The Upanishad starts with the pronoun. How can you start with the pronoun unless the noun is introduced? The subject matter is known to the it's a known and which is going to be told. The subject matter is going to be told. The subject matter, it is going to be told. It is in having kept that in the mind. Vakshamanam buddho samkritya. That what is going to be told, it is there in the mind. Therefore, Upanishad uses yat tat. Like we say, tell me that story. Tell me that story. Suddenly, if I say, tell me that story, means you will not understand. What is that story? Suppose there is a context. We are talking about Rama going to the forest when Dasharatha asked. Then I ask you, tell me that story. It means I'm asking the story of Ramayana. So that story, so that you will understand, I will understand, because that is a topic we are discussing. Similarly, the Upanishad also uses the word yat tat, because Upanishad knows that is what the Upanishad teaches, and the students also listening to that. Therefore, we can use the word yat tat. There is no problem in that. So, Akshamanam Buddha Samhritya. That Buddha, in the Buddhi, this understanding is there. And that is going to be told. The understanding of that, understanding of that Brahma, the Brahma which is going to be told. It's already there in the Buddhi, therefore, yat tat can be used. Siddhavat. Siddhavat, as if it is already known, Paramrishyate, it is referred to by the Upanishad using the pronoun yat tat. Then continuing, Adreshyam. Adreshyam sarvesham buddhindriyanam agamyam iti etat.
Adrishyam sarvesham buddhi indriyanam
gamyam
iti
ityetat.
Adreshyam. This is Chandasam, we saw. Nadrishyam. Adrishyam, therefore, Adreshyam is equal to Adrishyam iti Vashikara says. Adreshyam is equal to Adrishyam, Nadrishyam, Nadrishya Yogyam. Not available for knowing, not available for perception. Perception for the eyes. Therefore, Adrishyam. Not visible. Eye means it's not only for eyes. Eyes only in Upalakshana. For all the sense organs. It is not available. Not objectifiable. Sarvesham buddhindriyana. Vashikara says. Sarvesham buddhindriyana. Buddhindriya means buddhi. Buddhi is by which we understand, we perceive. Buddhi means mind. Buddhindriyana. So buddhindriyana means jnanendriyana. Jnanam happens because of buddhi, because of the mind. Therefore, jnanendriya, buddhindriya. They're same only. So, sarvesham buddhindriyanam, for all the organs of perception, it is agamyam. Agamyam means not accessible, not available. Therefore, it is adreshyam, adrishyam, iti. Sarvesham buddhindriyana. Buddhindriyana means not adrishyam, it means buddhindriyana. Not only eyes, it means all the other organs of perception. Indriya agocharam. Indriya agocharam. Then the next line. Drishehe bagih pravrittasya.
दृशेः बहिः प्रवृत्तस्य
प्रवृत्तस्य
पञ्चेन्द्रियद्वारकत्वात्.
पञ्चेन्द्रियद्वारकत्वात्.
So here it says why it is not available for perception of sense organs. Why it is not available? What is the reason? The reason is told here. That is why it is in Panchami Vibhakti. The cause for Brahma not available for perception is told. What is the reason? Therefore, Panchami Vibhakti. Panchendriya dvarakatvat bhagif pravrittasya drishehe. Drishehe. Here we need to understand the word drishi. Drishi is a word, and the Shashti Vibhakti of drishi is drishehe. Drishehe pravrittasya. What is drishi? Before we look into the word, let us have this understanding about this understanding about the particular understanding about a particular a model. A model, that model is Pratibimba model. Pratibimba Vada. Vada means a model. Vada. There are three types of model. One is Avacheda Vada. Other one is Pratibimba Vada. Other one is Abhasa Vada. Three types of model. With three types of model, the model presents the nature of the Chit, the consciousness, Chaitanya. And through this model, then the consciousness, the Chaitanya, how this Chaitanya manifest in the form of Jivatma, the Tattvam being Chaitanyam, whether it is Paramatma or Jivatma, the Veda between them is not real. So, but Jivatma, Paramatma is there, Dvaitam is there in our understanding, in our Vyavahara. So for that these models are presented to negate these Dvaita, to negate the Dvaitam. Chaitanyam, that consciousness being one, the same consciousness, the Chaitanyam, which is in the form of Paramatma and which is in the form of Jivatma, manifesting in this Shariram. So let us take this, the Pratibimba model. Pratibimba means reflection. It's a model of reflection. For Pratibimba, for reflection, you need the you need a bimba. You need a bimba, and the bimba is reflected in a reflecting medium. So the main object and the reflecting medium and the reflection of the object in the reflecting medium. Like you see your face in the mirror. So you are the original person. You are the person looking into the mirror. The mirror is there which reflects you, and the person reflecting in the mirror is you. The person reflecting in the mirror is not different from you. The mirror is a medium which reflects you. So the reflection and the you, they are not different. Similarly, the Chaitanyam which is all pervading, which is just consciousness, the same Chaitanyam is it's all pervading, but the same Chaitanyam which is available for recognition in the buddhi, in the mind. In the buddhi, the same Chaitanyam is available for the mind, available for the recognition, available as a recognition of the thoughts. The thoughts are there. The thoughts come in your mind. The mind is nothing but the thoughts. The vritti. The vritti is enlightened, enlivened by the consciousness, the Chaitanyam. The Chaitanyam which is reflected in the mind. The Chaitanyam which is reflected in the mind, because of the Chaitanyam only, the thoughts are enlivened. The thoughts are recognizable. The cognition is possible. The consciousness which is all pervading, which is everywhere throughout the body, which is all pervading even outside the body, the same consciousness which is reflected in the mind, and the mind is nothing but the thoughts. Therefore, the consciousness reflected in the thoughts, that is Chidabhasa. So Chit is consciousness, Chidabhasa is the consciousness reflected in your mind. Mind is Jadam. Thoughts are Jadam only. The thoughts are enlivened, enlightened by the consciousness, the Chaitanya. Because of this Chidabhasa, the consciousness reflected in the thoughts, because of this only, the perception is possible. The perception of any objects, anything external or even internal is available for your perception. Even the perception of objects, the perception of external objects, how does it take place? In Vedanta, we say the perception of an external object takes place in two steps. In two steps, but the two steps happen simultaneously. We present it in the form of two steps, but it happens simultaneously. That is, your vritti, your chitta vritti, it envelops the object. The chitta vritti envelops the object. Suppose there is a flower, a rose right in front. The vritti pervades the rose. The vritti pervades the rose, and the vritti which is with Chidabhasa, which enlivens the thoughts, the vritti, which enlivens the vritti. By that, you get the knowledge of the objects. One is, the first step is vritti vyapti. Vritti covers or envelops the object to be perceived. Then the vritti is enlivened by the Chaitanyam, and therefore the knowledge of the object is perceived. That is phala vyapti. So vritti vyapti, that is the first step. Vritti pervades the object, and the vritti is enlivened or illumined by the consciousness, and vritti jnanam happens. This is how an object is perceived. So vritti vyapti and phala vyapti. Enveloping of the object by the vritti, the first step, and the vritti is enlivened or illumined by the consciousness. Therefore, the object is perceived. The knowledge of the object is gained. That's phala vyapti. So vritti vyapti, phala vyapti. For the vritti, for the thoughts to go out. How does it go out? The thoughts go out through the thoughts means the thoughts which is which is which is with consciousness, the chidabhasa. The consciousness reflected in the thoughts, or the thoughts which is with consciousness, the thought with chidabhasa. Anyway, you can say that is the consciousness reflected in the thought, or the thought, the vritti, along with the chit, the chidabhasa, it goes out for the perception of objects, sense objects. How does it go? It goes through the senses. It goes out through the sense organs. 5 sense organs we have. Through the sense organs, the chidabhasa, the chidabhasa, the thought with the chidabhasa goes out through the sense organs. Therefore, sense organs are what? They are as though the gates. They are as though the dwara, the gate, the door. So, sense organs have the status of being a gate, because through which only the consciousness, the vritti, the consciousness reflected in the vritti, or the vritti which is illumined by the consciousness, goes out. So vritti with chidabhasa goes out through the sense gates. Therefore, sense organs are the gates, dwara, dwaram, door. And we have 5 sense organs. Therefore, panchendriya dwara. Panchendriya dwara. Through the 5 doors of sense organs, through the 5 doors of sense organs, this vritti with chidabhasa goes out and perceive the objects, perceive the sense objects. So, therefore, here the word drishi is used in the sense of the chaitanyam which is reflected in the vritti. Vritti pratipalita chaitanyam. That is the thought with the chidabhasa, or chidabhasa in the vritti. Anyway, we can take sabhasa buddhi vritti, like the reflection in the mirror. So chidabhasa goes out through the sense organs and results in the perception of sense objects. Therefore, drishehe refers to the vritti jnana, chidabhasa, vritti with chidabhasa, the faculty of the perception of the mind. Drishehe bhagif pravrittasya, which is bhagihi, going out, which goes out for what? For the perception of sense objects. And for that, this sense organs has a status of being the door, being the gate. So therefore, Rishehe Bhagihe Pravritasya Panchendriya Dvarakatvat Adreshyam. Through the sense organs only, chidabhasa goes out and perceive the sense objects. If that is so, sense organs are the doors or the gates for the going out of the chidabhasa. If that is so, then how can the chidabhasa perceive the sense organs? Not possible, because sense organs itself are the doors. Chidabhasa goes outside to perceive the sense objects through eyes, ears, and other sense organs, mainly eyes and ears. When the chidabhasa goes outside through the sense organs, that is called bhagi pravrittihi, outgoing chidabhasa. For that, these 5 indriyas are the dwara, the doors, the door of exit. So, for this chidabhasa which is going out, these 5 sense organs are the gate, the door. So, this chidabhasa is it's called Panchendriya Dvarakatvat, having the 5 organs of perception as its gate. For the Chidabhasa as these 5 sense organs as its gate, therefore, because it has these 5 gates, how can the Chidabhasa, Chidabhasa can perceive the sense organs? Not possible. Therefore, this Aksharam Brahma is not available for the vritti, the Chidabhasa. It means it is not available for the sense organs of perception. They are the gates. They are just the door through which only Chidabhasa goes out. Therefore, Aksharam Brahma is not available for the Drishi, for the Chidabhasa. It's not available. So, therefore, Bhagif Pravrittasya Panchendriya Dvarakatvat Drishehe. Therefore, Brahma is Adrishyam, not available for the object of perception. It is like this. For the Chidabhasa to perceive the Brahma, why it doesn't perceive? It is like a child asking the parents, why didn't you invite for your marriage? Okay, how is it possible? The same way. So the 5 sense organs through that only the Chidabhasa goes out. How can these 5 sense organs perceive Chidabhasa? The 5 sense organs, in fact, they are enlivened by the Chidabhasa. So therefore, the sense organs cannot objectify the Chit. So that is why Bhashyakara says here, Panchendriya Dvarakatvat. Pancha Indriyani Dvarani Yasya Drishehe. These 5 sense organs are the gates for which? For what? For Chidabhasa, which is Bhagif Pravrittasya, which goes out for the perception of sense objects. It is only for the perception of sense objects. It cannot perceive Brahma, Aksharam Brahma. It cannot perceive Chit. So therefore Adrishyam. Therefore it is Adrishyam, Indriya, Agocharam. Indriyas are the gates. The gates are the exit point for the Chidabhasa to go out. How can the Indriyas can perceive Chidabhasa? It is not possible. Chidabhasa goes out through them. So, therefore, in the previous line, Bhashyakara said, Sarvesham Buddhindriyanam Agamyam. Why? For that, the Hetu is the Drishi as the 5 sense organs, Drishi as the sense organs as the 5 gate, and therefore Brahma is not an object, is not a Vishaya. It's not a Vishaya for Chidabhasa. Therefore, it is not available for any of the sense organs. Therefore, Adrishyam. Not only Adrishyam, it is Adrishyam, it is Ashravyam. We can bring in all the other sense organs, job of other sense organs. Not available for perception, not available for hearing, not available for taste. Iti. Drishege Bhagif Pravrittatva. Bhagif Pravrittasya Panchendriya Dvarakatvat. So the Hetu is given. Now, continuing the next line. And before going to the next line, these models, the Pratibimba theory it's only a model. Every model has got some limitation. Let me tell that limitation also. This model is only for our understanding. We should not take the model literally. We don't have any equivalent model for understanding Brahma. It cannot be. If we can have a perfect model to understand Brahma, then Brahma also becomes another object. It has got another parallel thing. Nothing parallel to Brahma. It is Purnam, it is unlimited when we say. How can it have a parallel? So this model, the Pratibimba also. In Pratibimba, there is a original image, original image and the reflected image and the reflective medium. Three things are there. The three things are there. The reflected is not different from the original. The reflection is not different from what is reflected. But in the reflection, between the reflection and the what is reflected, there is a difference. There is a difference in terms of direction. What is left for you, it is right there. There is a difference. But Jivatma, Paramatma, what is the difference? Between the consciousness, Sarvagata Chaitanyam, and the consciousness reflected in the Chit, the mind. What is the difference? There is no difference. But here, in the model, there is a difference. Between the reflected and the reflection, there is a difference. Similarly, there is a reflecting medium, as though the medium is also another one, another reality. But here in the mind, which is jada, which is not real. It's got only empirical reality. Everything is being mithya. If it is real, then it will result in Dvaitam. Therefore, the model has got limitation. Between the reflection and the reflector, we can say there is no difference, but there is a medium. A mirror is there. Is mirror real? So another thing is the mirror. So therefore, the model has, every model will have some limitations. The model has got limitation. With the limitation, we need to we try to understand. We try to understand the tattvam, the consciousnness which is all pervading, and that is reflected in the buddhi, and the buddhi is not different from consciousness. It is Brahma alone. It is mithya. So everything resolves into the same one reality. But that is not in the case of the model. The model there is a third thing. The medium, reflecting medium is there. And also between the reflection and the reflector, there is a difference. Those are the limitations of the model. So we cannot literally take the model. That is why we don't talk about the model. We try to avoid the model and understand the tattvam. To understand the tattvam, to understand the vastu, we can take only as much support required from the model. The model is not the complete representation of the reality. It cannot be. No model is perfect. That is why we have three models. One is this model, the theory of reflection, the model of reflection. Other one is Abhasavada. Other one is Avachedavada. Avachedavada is also interesting. There, that model is presented using the idea of the Akasha, the space which is all pervading, between the all pervading space and the space inside the gata, the pot. What is the difference? The space which is all pervading and the space which is inside the gata, it is compared to the space, the all pervading space is Paramatma, and the space contained in the pot, the gata, is Jivatma. What is the difference between the two spaces? In fact, there are no two spaces, only one space. Space is one. A pot has as though enclosed a space. It is not real. It is not real. The space is one. There are no two spaces. So, through this model also, Jivatma, Paramatma, Aikyam is presented. That is the objective of the model. But here also the model is limited. The pot is there. Pot is different from space. How are you going to account for the pot? This is a limitation of the model. Every model will have such limitation, as we have limitation in the Pratibimba model. Similarly, in this model also. But we need to understand the tatparyam of the model. Not literally, you can take the model. Like any example will have limitation. There is no perfect example for Brahma. If you have any perfect example or perfect model, then it becomes another reality. So therefore, understanding the limitations of the example, understanding the limitations of the model, we need to understand the Tattvam, Aksharam Brahma. So therefore, with this understanding, we will proceed. Therefore, we don't use much of this model. When we do some Prakarana Grantha in detail and a study in Panchadashi and all, it is covered, it is dealt with elaborately. That time we need to talk about the model. We need to understand. That time we need to, we will talk elaborately about the model. We need to understand the model and the limitations of the model. Okay, now continuing. Next line. Agragyam
Agrahyam
Agrahyam
Karmendriya Abhishayam iti etat.
Karmendriya Avishayam
Avishayam iti
Etat
etat.
So, Karmanaha Indriyani Karmendriyani. Karmanaha Indriyani Karmendriyani. Karmendriyanam Avishayam Karmendriya Avishayam. It means Vishayam means the object. Karmendriya Vishayam means that which is not the object of the organs of action. Karmendriya. Therefore, Agragyam. Agragyam is equal to Karmendriya Vishayam. Grah dhatu. Grah means to grasp, to hold. Not literally holding, even in terms of understanding. Understanding is also a holding only, perceiving. So grasping in terms of understanding, grasping in terms of action also. Grasping in terms of understanding has been covered by the Indriyas, Buddhi Indriya, Jnanendriya previously. Now here grasping in terms of action, physically holding, by hand, by feet, holding or some action takes place. Action is involved. So, Agragyam means it is not available for any karmendriyas to grasp. So, karmendriya to grasp. Generally, grasping is done by the hastendriya, hand. So, hand is only an upalakshana. So, it covers all the other karmendriyas. So, karmendriya avishayam agragyam, not available for any organs of action. Continuing further. Agotram.
Agotram.
Gotram Anvayaha.
Gotram
Anvayaha.
Moolam iti anarthantaram.
Moolam
Moolam
iti
iti anarthantaram.
Nahi tasya moolam asti yena anvitam syat.
Nahi tasya moolam asti yena anvitam syat.
Last line விட்டுட்டீங்க சார். அகோத்ரம்
Oh, sorry.
அனன்வயம் இத்யர்த்தः.
Agotram ananvayam ityartah.
Agotram ananvayam ityartah.
Problem is, manage participants, one screen is there. At least here only manage participants. In Sanskrit class, the chat box also will be there. The whole screen will be covered. So how to find this? Every time I have to minimize it or you have to move this. That's why it's covered. I could not see that. Okay. Agotram. Agotram is going to be defined. Gotra means Anvayaha. Gotram means Anvayaha. Anvayaha means lineage. The parampara, that is called Anvayaha. Moolam, the root. So Gotram means family, which is equal to Anvayaha, which is going to the root, the moolam of the lineage. So Anvaya means lineage, but here the lineage means not just the parampara, going to the root of the parampara. So Gotra means moolam. All these words, Gotram, Anvayaha, moolam, iti, anarthantaram. What is anarthantaram? Arthantaram, na arthantaram, anarthantaram. Arthantaram means anyartaha, another another meaning. Another meaning, arthantaram. Anarthantaram means it doesn't have another meaning. It doesn't have another meaning. It means what? It means synonyms. They are paryaya shabdaha. Anarthantaram means paryaya shabdaha. They are synonyms, equivalent words. Arthantaram means anya artaha. Another artha, another meaning. Na arthantaram, it doesn't have another meaning.
Meaning.
All these words doesn't have other meanings, not separate meanings. It means they're all synonyms. So Gotram is equal to Anvayaha. Anvayaha further is equal to Moolam. So different meanings, all mean the same. Na vidyate arthantaram yasya anarthantaram. So all these are synonyms. So Gotram, therefore Agotram is equal to Ananvayam. Anvayaha na vidyate yasya ananvayam. Doesn't have lineage. So Agotram means it doesn't have lineage. It doesn't have lineage means it doesn't have roots. Amoolam. Nahi tasya moolam asti. It doesn't have moolam by which it can be anvitam, connected to. So only moolam is there, then you can connect to that lineage and say this belongs to this parampara. But Brahma, what is a moolam? Bharadwaja Rishi, when we say it is Bharadwaja Gotra, Bharadwaja is the moolam. Vasishta Gotra means Vasishta is the moolam. So the Gotra can be traced to the moolam. What about Brahma? It doesn't have moolam. Amoolam. Na vidyate moolam, by which it can be connected to. Therefore, Agotram. It doesn't have moolam. Doesn't have lineage. It doesn't have origin. That is the meaning. So we will stop here. We will continue. We will continue in the next class. All of you, can you follow the class?
Yes,
Yeah, very well, sir. Very well.
Yes, Ji.
Yes, Jay.
Okay, I'm going at a very slow. I think repeating, going at a pace. I think the pace will be all right.
Yes,
Can you follow Sanskritam? I mean, others I'm asking.
Yes,
Those are the
Guruji.
beginners of the beginners class.
No problem.
Okay. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
Dhanyavad Guruji.
धन्यवाद गुरुजी
धन्यवाद गुरुजी
धन्यवाद गुरुजी
धन्यवाद
Dhanyawad.
धन्यवाद स्वामीजी